Hello everyone, this is day 5 of the 30 Days Identity Foundation series. So on day 5 we'll be covering overview of user lifecycle management. So far we have been covering about the various domains of cybersecurity and where identity and access management falls under. And then we have discussed about the different domains, subdomains within IAM. And in that one of the domain is identity governance, and one of the functionality of identity governance or terminology you can say or day to day that you use is ULM, User Lifecycle Management. So just to give a brief intro, every employee in an organization has a digital identity. We all know that, right? From the moment they join until the time they leave. So a user, they start, they go through all the activities within the organization and they leave. Okay. So when they join, they are called joiner, right? And there are joiner activities. When they are moved within organizations, different roles, responsibilities, different access given to them when they are, let's say, promoted, or if they are doing a certain project, they'll be given certain server access, right? So whenever they request and get additional access, they are called movers. New access has been moved on them, and when they leave the organization, they are called leaver. All the leaver functions work. So in the next few sessions, day 6, 7, 8, we'll be talking about joiner mover leaver process, and then there'll be an assignment as well. Okay. So, introduction, every employee we all know has a digital identity, and IAM manages this journey, which is user lifecycle management. And why it matters? Because definitely it increase productivity, security, and compliance. Whatever we are doing in the entire IGA world is primarily to improve compliance, definitely. And whenever we are trying to have right controls, it is improving security. And because no one now has to do any of these things manually, it is improving productivity. Okay. So what is ULM? User Lifecycle Management. Definition: managing user identities and access across their entire journey. It's basically a journey. Let's say user moves to step 1, step 2, step 3. Right? There are various journey. First, their ID is created, then basic access is given, and then certain roles are assigned. Then they'll be able to add MFA, right? Then they log into certain application. Everywhere digital identity is traveling. Okay, then they are promoted, right? Then they'll be given certain level of new access, and eventually, let's say after 2, 3, 4, 5 years, they leave the organization. Leaver function would start, or leaver activities. So that is the entire journey. Okay, and it covers from joiner to mover to leaver, and it ensures the right access is given at the right time, removal of access when not needed, compliance and audit readiness. These are the three things it ensures. Okay. So secure and compliant access management, first is removal, right? So whenever we start the whole thing, right, we start with definitely the unmanaged access because of risk and compliance issues. Then we move into timely access provisioning, granted access when needed, then removing the access, and compliance and audit, meeting the regulatory access standard, and eventually you move into a secure, efficient, and compliant system. The journey overall starts with unmanaged access, because if there is no issue or gap, why will you even get a tool? So you move from unmanaged access to a point where you're securing all your controls. So key phases of user lifecycle management. The first one is joiner, new hire gets added into a system, right? An account gets created, and basic birthright access are given. Birthright access are access which is given, I would say, when an account is born. Okay. So that's why it is called as birthright access. For example, when you join an organization, you don't have to request for Outlook. You don't have to request for, let's say, Workday, right? Or you don't have to request some of the basic access, payroll. You get that by default. That is called birthright access. Okay. So here is a small explanation. I'm trying to compare this with how you sow a seed and then you get a plant, right? So here, if you see, this is pre-onboarding. Sorry, this has just moved. Birthright access and post-onboarding. Okay. So we can account. Let's ignore this. Okay. So pre-onboarding, new hire before the joining. Now there are two phases. One is pre, because there are some pre-onboarding activities also, and there is post-onboarding. Okay, you don't just simply uh, get selected and next day, boom, you're in. There are pre-formalities you do. You have BGCs, right? Your documents are collected. A lot of things are there. There also there is a ID that is there with you. Okay, so new hire before the joining process. You complete all the formalities, and the day one, right? You complete the formalities, share the details, account creation happens. Basic birthright is given. So the day you join the organization, this journey starts from here. Account creation sometimes maybe um, probably a week ago, like all of this is done. It's not like on day one you start requesting access, but before you join. But these are when you have confirmed and you are finally joining post, because there will be a situation where someone will um, join and then they will leave. Let's say they accept the offer after, and the notice period is, let's say, 2 months, and they leave also, right? After waiting for a month, they leave and move to a different organization. So then all of these activities sometimes are not conducted. Sometimes organizations are proactive to they create them, but later they delete them. Okay. So mover, whenever there are role changes, you join an organization, you have been promoted, or you need some access to servers or clouds, right? Based on your new role, that is where access will be updated. So here, if you see role changes, access update process, you have the review. It first reviews the access rights, adjusts permissions, and assign with new roles. Okay, so first it is reviewing whether you have access. Then there is a process where you're requesting the access. When you're requesting, it verifies and gives you the right access. And then eventually, if you have the right access, it aligns with your roles and responsibility. In the end, it is lever, exit. All accounts are revoked. No orphan access will be given. Primarily to kind of prevent orphan accounts also. So if you see, you have the secure account termination, we have the security maintenance, right? So from the exit notification till the account revocation to orphan access prevention, and then eventually you have the security maintenance, maintain ongoing security protocols. Okay, so these are the different steps taken when you are doing the termination. Okay, so first it'll inform when you resign, you inform the IT employee, right? The IT team of the employer, and then account revocation during your last working day. Okay, then it'll ensure that no unauthorized accesses are there. And finally, this goes on as a maintenance activity in case if someone is left out. So, daily use, where do we use this daily? Okay, in most IT tickets, 30 to 40% are access related, which are poorly managed. Sometimes they'll say I have access, sometimes I do not have access. Sometimes they'll be like, this new hire has been joined, but then they still do not have maybe basic access to email. Right? So a lot of user access issues goes on. If you are working in SailPoint or Savient or any IGA tool, you'll be knowing this. So real world use cases, example, an HR system feeds an IM tool. So joiner auto provisions in AD, email is created, mover, old access are revoked, new will be given, lever, all access are disabled. Okay. So interview tips. Some of the common questions is what is JML? You should be able to answer them, right? What is JML? Joiner mover lever ensures secure, timely provisioning and deprovisioning. What problem occurs if ULM is manual? Orphan accounts, privilege creep, audit failures, insider threats, and try to when you're learning all of this, right? These are just couple of questions, but then when you're trying to learn this, just have a look into documentation of SailPoint or even in Okta, OIG, or any tool, right? Which is trying to do. So now Zilla being brought by CyberArk, they will also have one component of the entire IGA module. And quick assignment, pick up a sample organization or org wherever you work, university or workplace. Map how a new student employee gets IT access. You can definitely talk to your senior, ask to your lecturers, professors, right, or the IT team. Ask them like what is provision at joiner stage, what changes at mover stage, or you can go to your if you're not in the IM team, go and ask your IM team, or if you're working in IM team, you may be a support guy, right, who have not seen all of this happening. Do ask them what access you give in the joiner stage, how the whole mover thing work and what happens when you leave, which all system gets triggered. Okay, and identify at least two risks if this is not automated.